All right, guys, we're live. Um, all right, here we go. Let's start with section one. So junior year of college is over, and so here's just like some like updates on like how I've been feeling in like the last few weeks. So like the end of May towards the beginning of June, um well, at the end of the school year is when I stopped consuming cannabis, because I was living, in a different city than my hometown, right, to go to college. But now in the summertime, I'm coming back to live with my parents, so um, I can't be smoking weed all the time, So um, I just quit like temporarily. So I'm just taking like a 3 month tolerance break, if you will. Yeah. So at the end of May and the beginning of June, I got fucking unlucky because, I was, going through withdrawal because I just quit, right? But I happened to catch a cold at the same fucking time. So, I was going through withdrawal symptoms like, nausea, insomnia, depression. Like, I was feeling really shit, dude. But, I also got, like, a bad cold, and I haven't gotten a cold this bad in my entire life. Not on time. What the fuck am I saying? I haven't gotten a cold this bad for years. For like the last several years, I haven't gotten a cold this bad. I misspoke there. Um, yeah, but like the cold symptoms began like with like this feeling of this like lump in my throat, and it just got like worse and worse to the point when I didn't want to swallow. I didn't want to swallow my own spit because it just hurt to swallow. It was painful to swallow, and I don't really remember exactly when this was. It was probably, like, towards the end of May or something. It was, like, the hardest night of, like, weed withdrawal, um, and the cold in, like, this, like, period. Um, so, dude, it was like oh, man, I was just that night, I was just in such, like, a dark place mentally. Um, like, I just had this, like, feeling of, like I wouldn't say it's, like, doom, but just, like, mental agony. Like, it was a fucking dark, dark time, and I was praying to God even though I'm not religious. Well, that was, like, the hardest night of quitting, but and the cold. But the second hardest night, it was, like, a few days after that when my that was, like, the worst, point of my cold, and, I had this, like, unbearably bad coughing fit, and it's like I just, wanted to, like, end my life to stop the suffering because I just couldn't stop fucking coughing, like, it was so fucking horrible. Um Like, hypothetically, if there was, an insta death button on my nightstand that night, there's a good chance that I would have pressed it, and I'm not fucking kidding. So, those were, like, the 2, like, worst nights of this, simultaneous cold and, weed withdrawal. And since then, things have only gotten better, like, the worst part is over, so my mind and body are recovering. Um, but dude, like, the to put the suffering in perspective, like, I'm just fucking amazed by the amount of shit that people have been through, and they still choose to live even with that. It's insane. So, like, those, like, few nights of, like, really, really shit withdrawal and having a cold at the same time, like, it was really like, I thought that was hell, and I wouldn't wish it upon my worst enemy, right? But in perspective, it's merely the tip of the iceberg of human suffering, right? Like, other people have gone through opioid withdrawal. Like, weed withdrawal is very tame compared to opioid withdrawal. Um, Other people have broken bones, and I've never broken a bone. Other people have been sexually assaulted. They've just look through history and look at the suffering endured by enslaved people, prisoners of war, people who have been tortured. You know, like, I thought that going through withdrawal and having a cold at the same time was hell. but it's just like 5 it's not even like 5%, it's like probably like 1 to 2% of the total magnitude of suffering that, like, people have experienced, so it's just fucking insane, you know? And it's like, I guess I got admiration for them, 'cause it's like, if I had to go through that pain, I certainly wouldn't want to live, and those people choose to keep going on. I mean, respect to them, but I can't fucking handle that shit. Alright, um oh, yeah, but, here's some progress that's, like, negative progress. So, earlier on this channel, I announced that I set, like, screen time blocks on my laptop and my phone in order to maintain a good sleep schedule. And, now that the school year is over and the summer started, I decided to turn off the screen time blocks on my laptop. And that was not a good choice because my sleep schedule went to shit immediately. So now I just like lately I've been going to sleep at like 4 to 5, sometimes even 6 to 7 a.m., you know? Um, so like, yeah, I need those screen time blocks. I literally can't like keep my routine in check without them. Um, but what about the school year? So the last couple of months, I said I was gonna self-improve, but I didn't because I failed with substance use and discipline because I've been using like way too much weed, way more than I planned to. I wanted to like cut it down and just do it in moderation, but like right before the school year ended, I was literally getting as high as I could, as long as I could every single day to like milk every last drop of milk out of the cow. Because I knew that as soon as the school year was over and I was gonna go home to live with my parents, I would have to stop. So before that, I was like, I have to get every last fucking drop like I possibly can, like squeezing the cow, you know what I mean? Like, um, yeah, but I also slacked off with like employment searching. So I didn't really apply for that many jobs. I didn't. Applied for some internships and some jobs, but I didn't really hear back from any of them. Um, yeah, because my resume is shit. And like man, it's like coming back to bite me because I wish that I got a job before this because now I have to come home and like live at home and be with my parents, and it's just like for me, it's just fucking hell. I hate this. When I'm living at home, I feel trapped because I have like no social life here. Um, my parents, well, not was well, my mom says it a little bit. She says that my transition is destroying my life, but my dad, like every single day, he has like something negative to say about the way that I'm living. And he's right. A lot of the things he says is true, but it's just like it's just like he says it in like a very low EQ way. So, yeah, I hate living at home, and I'm actually gonna go into more depth about this later in the stream. Yeah, so I wish that I got a job for the summer before the school year ended, because I didn't, now I'm stuck here. I'm stuck here being fucking miserable. You know, it's like, dude, like, look, I'm a lazy person. Look, I go like, "Oh, I don't wanna get a job. I don't wanna get a job. It's too much work." But now that I'm at home and seeing how fucking miserable it is, I would rather be at work for 8 hours a day than to have to just, like, keep, like, being at home, stuck at home with my dad. Like, this is, like, honestly, it's employment cell motivation. It's some motivation to money max. Alright, I'm gonna quickly, respond to the chat. Yo, sub Turbo BV, sub Tro 4. Um, test account. Turbo, do you have ADHD? I think I've seen you on Reddit. Yeah, I have a Reddit account that's it's called Turbo Black Pill YT. So that's like I only use that account for things that I'm okay with being publicly associated with the channel. So to answer the question, I've never been diagnosed with ADHD, but I strongly suspect that I have it. Um, and I say strongly suspect because, that there's always a chance that these things could have some other cause, like trauma or, you know, because a lot of mental health conditions have like massively overlapping symptoms. So I'm not gonna be too gung ho on assuming that it must be ADHD, but I think that it is very likely that I have ADHD, um, based on my childhood history. How are you doing today? I'm doing I mean right now I'm doing fine, but like a couple hours ago, like here's the thing, it's like every time my dad talks to me, I just like get sent into these like negative emotion spirals and I just start feeling like shit. So I was so pissed, man. I was gonna like come on stream and just fucking rant about my home life and how much I fucking hate it. But I kind of want to prevent this stream from being too long because I know that I have a habit of just making streams way longer than they're supposed to be. Yeah, so about quitting substances, I think that I ought to quit vaping as well. All right, so I've been vaping. um, I did not quit at the same time that I quit weed, but I think that I should quit that because I think it's making my ADHD symptoms worse. And when it comes to diagnosing these things, it's important to eliminate all of those confounding variables. So, I want to be able to accurately gauge my ADHD symptoms. So I don't want to have any other sort of factors that are interfering with it, like nicotine, THC. So I ought to quit those things too. Also, I want to know, like, to what extent is hormone therapy, transgender hormone therapy affecting my ADHD symptoms. So in order to evaluate that, I have to stop the intake of other drugs like nicotine. Sub 5 Survival says ADHD truly is a curse. My biggest gripe with it is I always overcomplicate things. Do you have plans or goals this summer? Yes, I do. I want to get my first job. Um, I've already applied for my ID, my passport, so I'm gonna get my ID. I'm gonna get my driver's license. I want to learn to drive. Um, yeah, so those things. I want to sort of get those like adulting things out of the way, and I want to make some money to just like get a little bit of income, save a little bit of money. You know, I don't want to stress myself out too much this summer, but I like work is gonna be stressful, like regardless. I kind of just want to heal my mental health this summer, heal from like the like messing up my brain with taking copious amounts of THC during the school year. Ibis asks, why are you taking HRT? I'm taking HRT because I have gender dysphoria and I'm transitioning from male to female. All right, so oh shit, wait. There is one more point. I'm just reading over my notes here. So like I used to think that like there's no point in being myself because I used to think that it's more fun to be fake because I can treat life like a game, like why be limited to being authentic if you can act and choose to like take on any personality and just like play GTA in real life, But it's like lately I don't want to do that anymore and I just want to like be authentic. And I want to feel real, but the problem is, and I said this in my previous video, the one like the comment therapy one, like all the time, every word that comes out of my mouth, I just feel like I'm constantly having a mask on. I just feel like I'm being fake all the time. But it's not like I can just switch to being real, I feel like this mask is all that I know how to it's the only way I know how to behave. I don't know, man. Well, one of the reasons why I consumed so much weed is because it just makes me feel more like myself. Like that fake feeling of like always having a mask on. that seems to go away most of the time when I'm high on THC. So, like, well, since the school year ended, I actually have relapsed on weed a few times, but, you know, starting from June 1st, no more weed. Haven't relapsed since then. But at the end of May, like, I relapsed a few times, and when I did, I got so relieved because I felt like, dude, I feel like myself again, Like, I feel like it's real. Like, I feel like I'm not faking shit all the time. I feel like my true self comes out when I'm high. But alas, you know, it's whatever. All right. So in my third year of college, I made some significant progress in my gender transition, although I have not socially transitioned. So at the beginning of the school year, I was wearing mostly male clothes, male typical clothing, and I went from that to going out in feminine clothing almost all the time. Um, but I also went from occasionally wearing makeup to wearing no makeup because I'm just lazy and it's just too much work and it just got old. Yeah, but I also I get called ma'am more often than sir now, unlike before. I still get sir sometimes, but I usually get called ma'am. But I don't pass though. I think it's just people like fucking humoring me and just being like, "Oh, nice and accepting." But I'm a sub 5 void who looks like a ogre. But this the weed, like, so far I've been talking about weed like it's all been negative effects on my mental health, but there have been positives as well. So with weed and gender transitioning, like, I think I feel different, and I felt like this throughout the school year, like towards the end of the school year more so. I just started to feel more and more confident, like more at home in my body. Um well, I like my body more and more, the more feminine it's getting. And like my social anxiety went down as well. Like I'm less afraid of other people judging me, and it was just exposure therapy. So before junior year, like sophomore year, um I would like put on a mask, and I don't mean this in a figurative way. I mean that I would put on like a COVID mask when I went to shop for women's clothes because I'm just scared what people would think of me, right? But over time, my social anxiety went down, and I was able to just confidently, you know, be myself out in the real world and not really care what people think. So like that's an improvement to my mental health. Like I felt like a relief from pressure to conform to male standards. Okay, Ibis asks what made you transition. Well, I just have dysphoria, like I had it since I was a little kid. I always felt like I should have been born female. Like I want to have a female body and live life as like a normal woman. Oh yeah. Well, with weed, so here are the benefits is that like it's sort of like unlocked parts of my weed like unlocked parts of my psyche that were like locked away in some way. So it brought back memories. It like helped me sort of introspect on some of my childhood memories. Um and like getting high just made me feel some like feelings that I haven't felt for a long, long time, and that's very, very welcome. So, like in the fall semester, I did have like a mental health episode because like the compounds that I was taking just fucked with my brain. Um, but aside from that, it really was like an eye-opening experience. So, like I said, my childhood memories came back, and weed helped me explore like it helped me get more self-love and made me feel gender euphoria. Um, Yeah, so the weed sort of dilutes my visual perception so that I see a more feminine version of myself in the mirror, so that, like, when I'm high, I look in the mirror and I think that I pass as a woman, and that makes me very, very happy. Also, like, speaking in a feminine voice gets way easier and is way more natural when I'm high, but it seems to take a lot of effort when I'm sober. Um, just like an interesting quirk of cannabis, but, it is an S tier drug in my experience. Like, I really, really like it that it's able to do that. Yeah, but, there's negatives to it too because in, like, April or May, like, I ran out of pre-rolls, and I had the urge to, like, relieve the withdrawal symptoms, so I had, like, a bag of, like, weed, but, I didn't have, like, a pipe or anything to smoke it with. So this was, like, when I was in my apartment at college, right? I just, like, in the middle of the night, I went downstairs and I went looking in the kitchen cabinets for like a glass or metal straw, anything that I could use to smoke the weed, like just drug addict behavior. So, like I think that I would consider myself to be like I would consider myself to have been addicted to weed. Um, like I still psychologically am, even after the physical dependence is largely gone. Because dude, I can't wait for this summer to be over. I can't wait for the next college semester that I can live away from my parents so that I can finally get high again, bro. Like, it just feels so fucking good. I just wanna feel good, man. Ibis asks, "Do you find women attractive?" Yeah. I mean, I used to, like, find them, like, sexually attractive. Now I just sort of find them aesthetically attractive. I think that, since I started hormones, my sexuality has changed. Um, so I consider myself basically like a straight woman now. So I only really find them attractive in like the aesthetic sense, like in an envy kind of way. I wish I could go from M to F, but I have zero androgynous features. Yeah, me neither. That's why I'm a non-passing trans woman. Like, if I was androgynous, I would have a much easier time. Do you think weed has been a net negative for your life in general or a net positive? I think it's a net positive. Um, like, the memories that it, like, brought to the surface, those, like, repressed feelings and the gender euphoria, and it just helped me, like, work through my trans thoughts. Um, like, the negative is that it just messed up that it decreased my motivation, and it gave me some, like, health issues and, like, withdrawal symptoms, like nausea and, like, um I think it was worth it, like, I think that there's always value in new experiences. So even if those positives didn't happen, I think it would still be worth it just for me to like get a taste of what it's like to be using substances, so that I could like, because you can only learn so much from like watching an anti-drug commercial, but once you actually do it and then like it starts to negatively affect your life, that's when you start to really internalize the lesson. So that I think that I really needed to go through that with like the mental health issues and shit in order to like sort of get rid of my like naive fascination with drugs, you know, to just kind of get it out of my system. Forever Over asks, does any of the hate that trans people get online impact your mental health? Oh, fuck yeah, it does. Like, I was thinking about this before I started the stream. Um, it's just the shit that people say on like black pill servers and shit. Um, yeah, it fucks with me because like it's just kind of like a painful reminder that a large chunk of the population still does not accept us, especially if we don't pass. That's the black pill, that a lot of what determines whether you get accepted as a trans person depends on your physical appearance. It's about your looks. So, it is just fucking brutal because, like, I guess, to a lot of people, I'm never gonna be a real woman. Um, they're never gonna accept me. So, that's the hard thing because it's like I love Black pill community. It's my favorite like online subculture. It's like I feel like Black pillars are the only people that I really get along with, the only like-minded people I can find. But they don't really a lot of them are transphobic, right? But the trans community, I just seem to have a harder time getting along with the trans community than with Black pillars. Right? So it's like it's either I get like-minded people or I get people who accept my identity, but I can't really have both. But that's only a generalization because there are plenty of exceptions in the black pill community, and I'm very thankful for that. People who do accept me for being trans and black pilled. Um, okay, yeah. Speaking of weed, so you know that weed gives you the munchies, right? It makes you hungry. Well, during the school year, I've been ordering a lot of like, a lot of food delivery, Uber Eats, DoorDash. So I've been eating like a lot of fast food, uh, like especially towards in the spring semester. And that led me to gain about 10 pounds of weight. So in this summer, I also want to lose some weight and get leaner. Um, yeah. Oh yeah, well this year is also the year that I found out that I probably have ADHD. So like before this year, I really was kind of oblivious about ADHD, but this year I started to really like learn about ADHD, um like watching ADHD videos on YouTube. Um like one excellent source is Dr. Russell Barkley, who specializes in ADHD research. So it really made me like realize that ADHD is a pretty misunderstood disorder, and it's not what I thought it was. And I thought I didn't have it, but now I think that I probably do have it, and it explains so much about my life. It helped me gain some self-awareness too, because like learning about these ADHD behaviors made me recognize some of the behaviors that are actually problematic, but I didn't realize that I was even doing them before I knew about ADHD. Also, in junior year, I met a new online friend who I really like. I have a crush on him, and I think he's just like the perfect guy. Like the way he makes me feel, he makes me so happy. Like just thinking about him makes me so happy. But he's a straight male and he's never gonna like me as more than friends. But I'm still very glad that we met. Still very happy that we get to be friends at all. I just wish that I could meet someone in real life who can make me feel the way that he makes me feel and also likes me. Oh man, but that's a fat chance. Like this guy is like the ideal like black pilled boyfriend. Like I just vibe with his personality so well. If only I could find someone like this in real life who is into trans women. But alas. All right, so this is like a mental shift that's like relating to black pill and dating content. Over the course of the last school year, my perspective on dating got flipped on its head. So I used to see dating from a male perspective, and that's why I got into the BP community. How to get girls, how to get a girlfriend, how to look smacks to mog other men and increase your SMV and get girls. That's how I thought about dating when I first got into the BP. But over like the past year, um, I started to see dating from more and more of a female perspective. So I started to find men's dating content, like the black pill videos and red pill videos and dating content that's aimed at men. I found it more off-putting and threatening. Um, and I found myself like getting angry at men's dating coaches for teaching their audiences about like for like promoting lookism. Like I get so pissed that these male dating coaches on YouTube are like encouraging their audiences to get baddies, to get eights and nines and tens, how to get a beautiful girlfriend. Oh, you shouldn't settle for an average girl. You should learn game to get like you should look smacks and learn game to get like a 8 out of 10 Stacy. That fucking pisses me off. It pisses me off, bro. Like I hate lookism from the male side just as much as lookism from the female side. Like they all these guys want to go for the eights, nines, and tens, the Stacys. Nobody wants to go for a 3 out of 10 ugly Asian girl with an underbite and no curves like me. I mean, what male dating coach on YouTube, what red pill, black pill dating coach is teaching guys how to get a plain Jane? Who's helping guys get girls like me? No one, bro. Because no guy wants to get girls like me. This is bullshit, bro. Like that's how I feel about men's dating content now. Like I don't want to even watch like some fucking wheat waffles video. Like I have no interest in watching red pill and black pill dating content anymore because it's all about teaching men how to get women who aren't me. You know, like I do watch black pill YouTubers like Aesthetics Waiting, um, but it's for the talk about facial aesthetics. Like studying the dating market, human psychology, the state of society, culture, and personal stories related to the black pill from people like DBDR. That's why I watch the black pill. I don't watch it for dating advice anymore because it's just dating advice that's aimed at men and it just pisses me off to watch. Um, don't you find weird you can't relate to other trans community? Ibis asks. No, no, I relate to the trans community. I just like, dude, because I have a fucking underbite, like I have a hard time pronouncing the word community. I have to really enunciate the U community. Otherwise, it just my tongue kind of like runs into the back of my throat, and it sounds like community, community. I fucking hate this, bro. I can't wait to get surgery to fix my fucking underbite. Okay, I digress. Okay, I was rambling there. I can relate to the trans community. It's just that they're too blue pilled for my liking, right? So we feel the same way. I relate to how a lot of most of them feel gender dysphoria. How we relate to femininity, our experience. You know, with our trans feelings. Like I relate to that so much, and I'm like, it's awesome that we have a trans community online now. Like, if I was born before the internet, I would feel so fucking alone. Like, I wouldn't even know that there are people out there who felt the same way that I do. So I relate to them. It's just that, they're just blue pilled about looks. It's like they don't. The black pill perspective is I think is the most realistic. Like most trans women won't pass, and like passing is mostly dependent on genetics, and your looks and your voice is like passing is super duper duper important, for your quality of life, um as a trans person, like like I don't buy into the whole like, oh, looks don't matter, you just have to be confident in yourself, oh, don't worry if you don't pass, you don't need people's validation anyway. Like See, I just don't agree with that blue pill sort of, way of looking at things, you know? Like, it is extremely important what you look like. If you're an attractive passing trans woman, you have it orders of magnitude better than an ugly non-passing trans woman. Yeah, sub-5 survival is right. Trans community are pretty much blue pilled as well. But the trans community is very diverse. There are like different subsects of the community, and the one that I really like is like the Fortran community. It's sort of they use like the same terminology that inkies and black pillars use. That's the subset of the trans community that I really do vibe with. You know, the people who use terms like gigahan, passoid, you know, that's what I like. It's like the crossover between BP and trans. Ibis says most trans women on the internet look like real women. I don't know about that. I mean, like maybe like half of them pass, you know, but it's like it's selection bias because most people who are unattractive or don't pass, they'll be less likely to post their pictures publicly online, right? So you see sort of like this like selection biased sample of trans women who are very confident in their appearance because they have a good appearance, right? And it's important to not like fall into the trap of like thinking, oh no, that's what the average trans woman looks like, it's over for me. These are just the ones that show their face. All right, so um the school year, junior year of college is over and I'm back home again and I fucking hate it. All right, so I made a stream about this. Um, Same problem before. It's titled "Why I Dread Coming Home for the Holidays." The thumbnail says "an F tier father-son relationship." So if you're interested in that, you can check it out in the live stream section of my channel. But earlier in the stream, I talked about like my inner journey and how like transitioning and like smoking weed had like helped me like get in touch with my emotions, you know, and like sort of like come to terms with some like repressed feelings and shit. That's really good, right? But other people only see the external improvements. So like my parents, like my inner journey doesn't mean shit to my dad. You know, all he sees is that I am someone with bad grades, someone who doesn't have a job, someone who lacks social skills, someone who can't maintain a routine, someone who can't fit into mainstream society. That's all that he sees. Like other people only see the external improvements. So it doesn't fucking matter to him how much I have like improved on my inner mental health journey and shit. You know, he's just as disappointed as he was in me before. No, scratch that. He's far more disappointed, you know. Um it's like whenever I go home, like for holidays or summertime, I just get that like home feeling that kills my fucking confidence. You know, like when I go to go live away from my parents to go to college, you know, I feel free. I feel like I feel independent. I feel like I have control over my life. I feel like I want to like do things that I genuinely want to do. You know, like I don't feel like a pressure or I don't feel anxious all the time. But whenever I come back home, I just feel like shit, you know, I just feel anxious, I feel fucking trapped. I feel like I can't fucking do shit, that there's nothing that I can do, that I have no control over my life. And that's not objectively true. I just feel that way emotionally. I guess it's like a learned helplessness thing. You know, and like when I come back home, I feel like I'm just repressing my true self that I gradually discovered and let out during college. So during the school year, you know, I started to wear women's clothes more. I started to like um let out some of my like repressed feelings more and I just became more confident, less socially anxious. But once I went back home, and I started wearing like regular guy clothes again, I just like feel like I'm just repressing my true self, and it fucking sucks. Like coming from college back home, it's like a major quality of life downgrade. Um, which in some ways I could see that as a good thing, as part of the self improvement journey, because I have far less hedonistic pleasure and comfort. Right, I don't drink soda anymore. Like during the school year, I could eat and drink whatever the fuck I wanted, but once I come back home, like we don't have any soda at home. We don't have any sugary drinks. We don't got no Starbucks, no smoothie, no boba tea, right? Um, my parents like only like have healthy food in the fridge, you know what I mean? So like my sugar intake is way down now, and I used to drink like during the school year, I used to drink lemonade and soda every day, but once I came back home, like I'm down to just drinking water and just occasionally like fruit juice. And yeah, I'm pretty fucking pissed about that because man, I want to taste some like good shit, right? But also less clothing comfort. Um so during the school year, I wore like women's clothes that like fit my body more comfortably than men's clothes. And once I came back home, I'm back to wearing these like shitty fitting, like shitty cargo shorts that just keep falling down and don't stay up, and these like shitty, like boxy men's t-shirts that just like don't contour my body very well. It's just like it's shitty, Women's clothing fits me better and is more comfortable to wear, and it makes me more confident in my appearance. I don't want to be wearing this like shitty like cargo shorts and like shitty t-shirts, but that's all that I have. That's all that I have. So, you know, I guess like the good part is that I have a healthier diet, even though it's less gratifying. Because I like I miss fast food. Like, man, when I back during the school year, um, at college, I would eat like fast food all the time. I would eat Wingstop, Popeyes chicken, like fucking McDonald's and all that shit. Like, oh man, like all that shit tastes so fucking good. But now I can't, I gotta eat the food that we have at home. And it doesn't taste as good. Like I hate saying this. It's like comes across as a disrespectful thing to say to my parents because they put in a lot of work cooking and shit. And they are very good at cooking. Their food is very, very good. But I still gotta say that like when it comes to just the pleasure, the taste, the dopamine, fast food still is more pleasurable to eat for me, and that like I hate to say this, but it's true. Another thing is like the fucking thermostat at my house. It's just too hot. Like I feel like I'm sweating a lot. Like I just wish that the thermostat could be like 5 degrees colder, but it is what it is. I just got to endure this bullshit in the summer. Like, hey, look on the bright side. This serves as a good motivation for me to get out of the house, for me to get a job, in a place that might be more air conditioned. Sub 5 Survival says, brutal, all the healthy dieting and upbringing, yet you didn't at least become a Chang. Well, it's not healthy upbringing, okay? Mental health is health. Like the stressful ass like parenting shit, it like it probably kept my cortisol levels way higher than ideal when I was a kid. That probably isn't good for my growth. Ibis says, "What things do you agree and disagree on Black Pill?" Um, I pretty much agree with like like everything that black pillars say, but I just sort of I agree with all of the facts, right? But I don't agree with the like emotional narratives that a lot of black pillars have because and this is just like a change that I've experienced through transitioning because most black pillars see things through a very, very male centric perspective, and that causes them to like discount the suffering of ugly women in society. They literally just like it's like okay, like juggernaut law is a thing, like women get lots of matches on Tinder, right? But I think that most black pillars are like overly male centric in their perspective. And it makes sense because they struggle to get women. So of course they're gonna see everything through the perspective of like a frustrated male, right? But it causes them to like really discount the experiences of women who are on the lower end of the look scale. You know, like I don't think that it is that easy to be an ugly woman. I don't think sub five women have it easy. I used to like back when I saw things through a male centric perspective as well, but I don't see things that way anymore. All right, guys. Okay, so here's the part about like dealing with my dad, which I have talked about in several live streams and in the previous video too, the comment therapy one. I think that in those past videos, I was too charitable to my dad, right? And I said, okay, he did the best that he could as a parent, he's not perfect, but I got to adapt to him. Okay, look. I think I got to be more upfront about what my dad did wrong, and I need to stop like being overly charitable to him and blaming myself way too much. So I think that a lot of what I called tough love that my dad did is actually just tactlessness. Tactless let's see. Just in case you don't know what it means, I'm not trying to be condescending, but English might not be everyone's first language here, so I'm just it's defined as tactless is the quality of not being careful to avoid saying or doing something that could upset someone. Um, let's see. Another definition of it is a having or showing a lack of adroitness and sensitivity in dealing with others or difficult issues. And adroitness means cleverness or skill. So it's like it's like poor emotional intelligence. And okay, Ivanov says, "Aren't you afraid that by saying all of this personal stories, your friends will discover your channel?" I don't have any fucking friends. Like I mean, this is like a mental health like issue that I need to work on because I have a very, very strong need to like vent my problems to other people. And since I can't do that to people in real life, I have to find some kind of outlet and it's gonna be online and it's gonna be this YouTube channel. So like it's just really fucking important to me for me to get my feelings out to you guys, even though it's like, hey, it's not good online privacy practices. It's not good um it's oversharing. It comes with privacy risks, but dude, like I just have to get this shit off my chest. Like I really need to. Okay. How do ugly women view dating scene and what do they want an aspect from men? Aspect from men. Well, I mean, I'm just speaking for myself because I don't know. I'm not going to speak for other ugly women, but it is just like a very, very strong feeling of missing out. And I feel like in Gen Z, a lot of like a lot of your life is defined by aesthetics and vibes. And I see, like pretty girls in sororities, like women who have really attractive boyfriends, and I see like couples walking on around the college campus and, like girls with really attractive boyfriends. And I just feel like it's just so fucking brutal, like they all look better than me. And like they get all the attention, men are never gonna even look my way. It's just like, what the fuck? I don't know if my dad's calling me right now. Holy shit. I want to get this stream over with because I've been procrastinating on it for a long time. Okay, I think you meant expect. Yeah. Well, I don't expect men to desire me, but I just want them to, you know, because like I want to get with a guy that I'm attracted to, but I can't because they only go for women who are actually attractive. So I just can't relate to them. Like here's one experience that's not like exactly related to dating, but like I was hanging out with a group of people. This was like a mixed gender group, both guys and girls, and three really beautiful women. They just asked me to take a few pictures of them, so I did. But it just made me feel like this really like sinking feeling of like missing out because like they were all posing and smiling and looking really good in their outfits, looking really really nice with their makeup and everything. And I'm the cameraman taking the picture, and I thought like shit, that's all I'll ever be. Like I'm never gonna look like them. If I was in that picture, I would look really out of place. It just I just don't fit in with attractive women. If I posed the way that they did in a photo, it would look ridiculous, right? And like the thing about like what they were wearing is like it's this like style where they like unbutton, like they're wearing like short jeans, but they have like the front unbuttoned. So it's kind of like an unbuttoned collar look. If I did that, especially because I'm a trans woman with a penis, it would just look like creepy and just weird. It would look disgusting to people. So it just makes me feel like shit that I'll never be able to like just do these little things here and there that they take for granted. I just can't because I'm ugly and I'm male. Ibis says, "Do you think real love exists in this generation?" I mean, yeah, but I just don't think it's very, very likely. Um, I don't think that it's even like less prevalent in this generation than it used to be in history. Because in history there was a lot of there was a lot of beta buxing, right? There was a lot of arranged marriages. There's a lot of like um, relationships that didn't really have love in them, but was just like for like social reasons and like for the rearing of children. So I don't think that there was more real love in the old days compared to now. It's always been hard to come by. Yeah, ugly equals creepy, hot equals cute, confident. Okay, look, I have to get on with the stream. So here's what my dad did wrong, and here's what I really disagree with this kind of parenting style. Is that like tough love? There's a time and place for it, sure, but a lot of what I called tough love actually was just tactlessness. So um some examples would be that when I like make some mistakes, like let's say I didn't know where to put the fork or some shit. I didn't know where to put a plate, which cabinet like a specific kind of dish goes in. He would be like, he'd say something like, "Be smart, be smart," or he would say like, "Why don't you learn?" And he said this when I was like doing math because I had a hard time learning math. He's really really good at math, but it was like harder for me to get to his level. And he would always like express frustration at my slowness, and he would say things like, "Why don't you learn?" You know, um, and like with helping out around the house, if I like for instance, I didn't know that like I didn't know where to put like a specific plate or something, or I didn't know that I'm not supposed to put plastic bags in the recycling bin, or I didn't know um what days you're supposed to take out the trash. Then my dad said shit like, "Why don't you observe?" Like he would say shit like this, and it just comes across as like very harsh. Um, Another thing that he does is that he compares my achievement. to that of my brother and my cousins. So just comparing myself to like comparing me to other kids and my age. And the thing is that even when I bring up my personal struggles to him, he will then like say something like, "Oh, but your brother doesn't have this problem." You know, it's like I don't fucking understand what makes some parents think that this is remotely a good response when your child wants support for their unique problems. I don't fucking get it. It's like, why do parents it's like I come to my dad trying to seek some support for an issue that I'm experiencing, and then he goes like is like, "Oh, it's your fault because, like, you I don't see your brother having this problem, and I treated you the same." And it's like, "Bro, what? Like, we don't have the same brains, dude." I don't fucking understand parents who think that this is a good idea. Also, he's extremely blunt, and he thinks that that's a good thing because it's like the idea is that he's telling me things that polite people out in society won't say to my face, right? He thinks that it's valuable to tell me this advice, but it seems to do. I think it does more harm than good. So, and this is about the changes to my body shape, like growing boobs and shit that I got from male to female hormone therapy. Like he said things like I look like a monster, that he can't go anywhere with me because of how I look. He said that he almost can't even look at me when he talks to me. Um, yeah. So it's like, okay, blunt with this kind of blunt criticism, like I'd say that the best case scenario, and this might not even happen, but it's the best case scenario is that it makes a kid mentally tougher, more able to handle criticism, and less likely to get offended when they're out in the real world. And that's because they got desensitized, right? That's the best case scenario. But the thing is that you can't override human nature. Like, if you talk to someone and say those hurtful things, if you talk to someone in that way and you're inconsiderate of their feelings, like, of course, they're naturally not going to want to talk to you. Okay. Like, the possible upside of this is outweighed by the nearly guaranteed downside that you trashed your relationship with your kid and you wonder why they're reluctant to open up to you. Ibis, I come from an upper middle class family. Ivanov says, my father was kind of similar, sadly, but I don't care. It's not his fault that his level mentality, it is what it is. I moved on. Yeah. Oh man, it just like I can't fucking move on from it, bro. I want to, but like every fucking time he talks to me, I just feel like this fucking visceral feeling of anxiety, you know, like oh man, like I only feel relieved and like safe and free when he's not around me, you know, like my body just sort of gets on like high alert and gets really stressed out whenever he's nearby. Like it's not something I can control. It's just like an automatic response. Um like bro, keeps fucking happening day after day. I'm in just this like anxiety relief cycle, man. It sucks. David says, I don't think he's just being blunt. It kind of feels like he's trying to hurt you a bit. I think that he means well. Like I really do. He seems to be living in like a bubble though. He thinks that like the world is more transphobic than it really is. Um, because I told him like well this was like quite a stupid argument on my part, right? But I told him, oh, half the country disagrees with you. And I was like, and I was referring to like, you know, Democrats and Republicans. So I was telling him, well, half the country is trans positive. Half the country disagrees with you. And he responded, no, everyone agrees with me. Right. So he thinks that like everyone thinks that trans people are freaks, but it's like, I don't think that's really true. You know, he's saying those things to like, because he thinks that that's how I'm going to be perceived by everyone in the real world. He thinks that everyone else will judge me that way too. I don't think that it's that bad. Subside Survival says, son, I brought you into this world against your will, and you will live by my terms. Yeah, I mean, it sucks when parents do that. But I will say this though, like I don't consider my dad to be like a narcissistic parent. Like a lot of parents, lot of people, on Reddit I've read about, they had narcissistic parents. I don't think that my dad is one of them. It's not that he insists that like I be exactly how he wants me to be. He just has a very, very sort of rigid idea of what is best for me. So he wants me to be happy. He does not believe that I can possibly be happy by transitioning into a woman, right? It's not that he wants me to be a certain way. He thinks that his way is the only path that could lead to happiness for this kid. Don't go yell on your dad though. Yeah, yeah. Your dad is a good guy. Yeah, he's a good guy by intention, but he keeps like doing things that have harmful consequences. Because he just has that hard ass boomer parenting mindset. At some point, you will finish the school and have your own renter house. Yeah. Um, like my what I'm worried about is just like how I can keep a job because like I think it's just gonna be really hard for me not to get fired. Um, because it's like, hey, the mistakes I make around my dad, he points them out and it fucking hurts my feelings. But if I make those same mistakes out in the real world, you fucking fucking alarm on my phone, damn. If I make those mistakes out in the real world, then like I could get fired. I could lose my job, right? So I guess it's not even as bad to just like hear the criticism. Um, Princess says you are the problem. I think we're both the problem. Um, if I say that I'm only the problem, then like I'm literally being like complicit in a lot of terrible parenting practices that I don't think should be promoted. My princess, no, I don't agree. Good parenting is making their kids' life easy and happy as possible. You see, here's where my dad disagrees with. He does not think that easy life and happy life are compatible. Like it's very much he has very much like a hard work pays off mentality, right? And I think that that's a good message overall. Like if you choose to do the easy things, you make your life hard. If you choose to do the hard things, then your life will be easy because the hard work will pay off. So he thinks that what he's doing is like doing me a service, but I don't I don't think that it is. All right, so I just want to go into like more detail. Here's why I don't want to talk to my dad. I don't think that there's a point in having conversations with him because every time we talk, it's as if nothing that I said to him before even made a difference. So I don't feel like either of us gains anything from talking, and my dad keeps insisting that I have conversations with him and communicate. It's like, bro, what do we fucking gain from communicating? It's like, eh, look, my dad, he's shown that he doesn't make an attempt to understand like the subject. For instance, when it comes to trans issues, he assumes that his general knowledge is enough to infer about the subject and have an opinion on it. And one of these things that he does that I really don't like is that he states, based on his observations, instead of asking me, right? He just straight up told me that he doesn't see me any happier now compared to before. And he says, "Okay, well, you think that transitioning is going to make you happy. Well, I don't see you being any happier, right?" But it's like, why do you say something like this? Why would you not first ask me, "Hey, hey, son, do you feel well, son or daughter? Hey, do you feel different on HRT?" Or he could ask me, "How do the hormones make you feel?" Right? Why would he not ask these questions first? Why does he go immediately to stating that I'm not any happier? How do you know that, bro? Like I see, I don't think that he's trying to understand. That's the problem. Um, like I think he's very intellectually overconfident, and he's very smart and he's very knowledgeable. I'll give him that. He's read a lot of books. He's read wide, right? He's very, very sharp, very, very smart, but he has this like intellectual hubris. So he's like an analogy guy, and he said he's called himself that before. Like he's an analogy guy. He uses a lot of analogies when he makes arguments, and I think that's a form of intellectual overconfidence because you know you might think that your prior knowledge applies to a different topic because it looks similar enough on the surface. But if you dive deeper into the new topic, you may find that your analogy does not apply because it isn't analogous to the topics that you are already familiar with, right? So he makes these analogies, like comparing, like transgenderism, sort of the belief in sort of, your gender doesn't have to equal your biological sex. Like he compares that to flat earthism and believing that ghosts are real. And I don't think that the analogy applies. You know, he thinks that it does, and I can put myself in his shoes, and it makes sense from his standpoint because he doesn't know a lot about trans people. He doesn't know about what it is like. What he doesn't know about the trans condition. So, like, it makes sense that he perceives it as a delusion, but he's just so overconfident to think that he knows about it when he fucking doesn't know shit about it. Like, he admitted that he hasn't done much research on the subject. And he also told me, I asked him, "Hey, why don't you read some articles that are written by trans people? Why don't you watch some videos that are made by trans people? You can watch and listen to what right-wing media pundits say about trans people, but how about maybe watch some first-hand experiences from trans people and see if you can argue against that directly?" I asked him that, but he says that he won't do it because he's not interested in starting to do research about the subject. Okay, so he thinks that his knowledge about other subjects is enough for his opinions on this subject to be right. And that's the massive fallacy that he's making. Right? And here's an example of this. He told me that I should stop taking hormones. He's saying like maybe there's already some cancer growing in your body. That's why you're feeling sick. And this argument, all that indicates to me is that he knows nothing about the effects of these medications. Because if you Google what are the side effects of male to female hormone therapy, one of the biggest risks, and not like the biggest risk, it's actually quite a low probability, but one of the risks that like sort of stands out in an emotional way is blood clots, right? If he actually did his research, the bare minimum of research, his argument would be that I should stop taking estrogen because it increases the risk of blood clots. Now that makes sense. That's a good argument, right? But no, he didn't say that. He said, "Oh, there's probably it probably is gonna give you cancer or something." It's like, see, he's just like guessing, you know. It's like if you even did your research, you would actually have like a pretty decent argument, but instead you said fucking cancer. Like, come on, dude. That just indicates that he doesn't know what he's talking about. And actually, he has a point technically because I do have a higher risk of breast cancer by having more breast tissue. Yeah, but the way he said it, it shows that it was a conjecture, right? It's like the risk of a blood clot is more life-threatening than the risk of breast cancer. So if he knew anything about it, he would have said the blood clot. Look, and I think that if you're going to criticize someone's life decisions, you're obligated to inform yourself about the subject at hand. So, like, why the fuck is he telling me all of this shit that, oh, you're fucking up your health by taking those drugs. You need to stop. You're destroying your life. When you didn't put in the bare minimum effort to inform yourself about the actual consequences of transitioning. There are arguments for the anti-trans position. He didn't even make those arguments. He made like bullshit dumb arguments. Oh shit, man. Like right now, I'm fucking regretting like how I acted like a few minutes ago on the stream, got how I fucking like got pissed off at my phone with the alarms and shit. You know, it's a really bad look because it makes me look unhinged on stream, and I don't want you know, I don't want that to affect my rep as a YouTuber, but it is what it is, you know. And I can't cut that part out because it's gonna disable the live chat replay. Um yeah, so I'll just leave it, you know. I've been having like issues with irritability, probably because of the nicotine. So that's why I need to quit vaping. Another reason to quit. Yeah, okay. Parents need to balance between too kind and too harsh. You know what I mean? Yeah. It depends. Some kids need tough parenting, but on others will have bad effects on them. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Like my dad just has too much optimism about tough parenting. Like, I'm not very optimistic about tough parenting. I think that tough parenting can make a strong kid stronger, but it can't make a weak kid strong. It's just too tough for the weak kid, and it's only gonna backfire and make them pull away and be distant from the parent and want to avoid the parent and be scared of the parent and even traumatize the kid. He says usually people with high IQ could be less empathetic, lower EQ. Perhaps, perhaps. Sub 5 Survival says, wait, nicotine makes me irritable? No wonder I've been feeling awful lately. Oh, damn, bro. Wait, what do? Use Zins? Vape? You know, like, here's something that my dad does. Like, he preaches rationality and objectiveness, right? He says, okay, you need to use your mind. Don't be distracted by what your feelings tell you, right? He says, use your mind, be objective, look at the evidence. Don't start with the conclusion and then find evidence. Start with the evidence and then let that lead you to a conclusion. So those are very good principles, right? He like promotes that kind of logical thinking, which is very good. But like the last conversation that we had, he admitted to me that he's disgusted by trans people. He said that he's just so disgusted by it, and that's why he doesn't want to like do research about it. He doesn't want to like read what trans people have written. He doesn't want to like watch videos by trans people because he's disgusted by them, right? And I'm not saying that that's his fault. Disgust is not a choice, right? Like, why would someone choose to feel a negative emotion if they could instead choose to feel neutral? It's not his fault that he's transphobic, right? But still, it has an influence on his beliefs. You know, like he probably doesn't want to learn about the topic just because it makes him feel uncomfortable. So he's letting his feelings get in the way of the rationality. Like I think that he's the one who's starting with the conclusion and then finding evidence to back it up. He already has this pre-drawn conclusion because of his preconceived notions. Like, granted, it is possible for someone to have a rational take on something that they feel strong negative emotions about. But that requires them to push through their emotional aversion to become knowledgeable about the topic anyway. And he didn't do that. He didn't really put in much of an effort to become knowledgeable about the topic. He can't name a single trans person's name. Right? Like I think that his personal bias is probably the main thing that is leading him to his conclusions. And he doesn't see that. It's like, dude, you know, I understand the importance of having a good relationship with your parents, but like I feel like I don't want to waste my time dealing with people who are like this. Like, I'm totally cool with talking to people who think differently from me. I'm totally cool debating with people who disagree with me, as long as their arguments are informed. Like, bro, it's like every time we have a conversation about this subject, he just says like the most low IQ things, you know, and it just pisses me off. It's like appeal to, for example, what he said about HRT. He says, "Oh, like, you know how medications are made, right? You know what they make them from crude oil. From It's like, okay, maybe they use like petroleum-based compounds in the manufacturing process, but the estrogen molecule is bioidentical estrogen, which means that it's the same estrogen that is like naturally occurring in the human body. 17 beta estradiol. Um, yeah, it's the same molecule. Like, it doesn't mean that like there's crude oil derivatives in the pill. Like maybe there are. Maybe that's what they use as like a binder, or maybe that's like a filler in the pill. You know what? I'll grant him this. I'm not an expert either. I'm not that informed either. I should have done more research, right? But I really do think that his argument though, like, oh, because it's made from chemicals, because it's unnatural, it's just like a very low IQ like appeal to nature fallacy, and it just shows that you don't actually know about HRT and what its effects are. Oh, he says I use nicotine patches to suppress my hunger cravings. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that it does that. Well, learn something new every day. You need to balance parenting no matter the kid. Yeah. Telling a child subjective statements as facts will have a bad effect on the child and their worldview. Yeah, that's true. But I think that it's just generally accepted as like a rule, an unwritten rule in human behavior, that there are some things that you have to not be honest about. Like, imagine if a husband tells his wife that she's ugly. Like that's just not playing by the social script. Like the neurotypical social script is that when a man is in a relationship with a woman, the man needs to tell the woman that she is beautiful. That is just the social script. Like, hey, like I'm also pissed as well that the human brain is too weak to handle the truth. But we got to play the social script, or else no one's gonna like you. Like I had to learn that the hard way. That's just what you got to do. You got to be neurotypical, bro. Logical thinking only works on hard science. Everything else has emotion in it. No human is fully rational. I mean, look, maybe I'm gonna ask for your opinion on this, because it's like, I guess this is just sort of an individualism versus collectivism thing. But it's like my dad, ever since I started transitioning, he keeps pointing out like all of the harm that I'm causing to other people. He says that like I broke everyone's heart, and that that he doesn't want like grandma to see me like this. That he can't let anyone else in the family like see what I'm like. That I've disappointed everyone else. So I don't know, man. It's like the like people in the West would say, "Oh, don't care what they think, just be yourself." But it's like when he tells me that, I do feel bad about, like, because like literally everyone in my fucking family is gonna feel like negative emotions towards this, right? And if my transition fails, if I ever detransition, then holy fucking shit, they're all gonna be right. And then how the fuck am I gonna be able to live with that? I don't fucking know, man. It's like the mental development that I've gone through over the past year, it helps me deal with my dad, because I think I'm less suggestible, and I'm more confident in myself, and I'm more assertive than I used to be. Like no, dude, I'm not gonna fucking drop out of school and join the military. I'm so glad that I didn't do that. If I followed his advice years ago, I would have regretted it. Like I'm glad that I actually like did what I wanted to do with my life. And it's like now I no longer feel the need to comply to his suggestions just to lower the chance of him saying something to me that I don't want to hear and thus hurts my feelings. It's like I have a strong enough shield, that I'm able to stick to my guns and live my life the way that I want to, even if he disapproves of it. So I just think, like, look, he's gonna hurt my feelings regardless. Like, this is just what he does. It's just in his nature to do this sort of thing, right? Just like the comment by who was it? Was it Ivanov? The hell was that? Yeah, my father was kind of similar, sadly, but I don't care. It's not his fault. This is his level mentality. It is what it is. I moved on. So I think the same, like my dad's just gonna stay this way. That's just what he's like. It's just in his nature to just say these kinds of things. I mean, like, I don't want to shit on him. I don't want to dunk on him too much, but like my mom told me that like a long time ago, he compared that my dad compared my mom to like other men's wives. Um, I also remember like one time when I was 10, he made me like finish my meal even though I was like way too full. So he kind of like forced me to like overeat. And then he like asked me to write an essay about the experience, suggesting that I write, and I quote, "My daddy is a monster." And I'm like, dude, I don't know, like why do you have an ego about making your child suffer? This is like terrible parenting, I just say, look, that's just his nature, okay? He's just like that. He just does that kind of shit. And I just need to get my emotional maturity level up so that I don't falter. Ibis says, maybe it's the Ibis says maybe it's the way of raising that affected how you ended up. Yeah, I mean, always plays a role, yeah. Chad Doom says you have one life, you have to live it to the fullest, and sometimes you will have to hurt others, sadly. Your family, if they love you, will try to understand and understand you, and understanding is the best you can. Yeah, that's the best you can hope for. Good luck. I appreciate that, Chad Doom. Okay, so it like with all that being said, I just really, really, really want to be financially independent now because I don't want to have to end up here again next winter and next summer. You know, I'm so fucking tired of bottling up my emotions when I'm around my dad and just like having to close myself off in my room for anxiety relief. I'm so fucking tired of coming back home and having nothing to do and no one to hang out with, no social connections, and like there's like nothing to do in the area that we live in. Look, man, I don't want to come back next year. Okay? This has given me like this fucking pain has given me enough motivation to actually get a job and try to get financially independent. I do not want to end up back at home. All right? Okay, but here's another thing. Like I do think that it's not like entirely my dad's fault that I ended up this way because I am an oversensitive child. And this info that I'm about to say, I should have included it in the comment therapy video, but I just didn't think of it then. So like some people might say, "Oh, you aren't oversensitive. It's just your dad. It's just the trauma." And I say, "No, it's a combination of both." And how do I know this is that I had an overly intense emotional response to my 5th grade math teacher and an arts teacher that I had later on. So it's not just my dad, right? And these two teachers, other students would perceive them as just strict, maybe a bit, demanding. They're just strict teachers, but like I couldn't help but feel like they were a threat to my safety and they violated me. And I knew that rationally that wasn't the case, but like emotionally I just couldn't help but feel threatened by the way that these teachers spoke to me, so I'm very, very sensitive to that kind of thing, especially like tone. Um, and I'm also a hypocrite because my tone is kind of aggressive as well. It's also kind of intense. So all right, bro, I really got to get this stream done with. I don't know if like my dad even called my name while I was doing the stream. I think he might have. Yeah, I'm gonna get this over with and just go and see what the fuck's up. Um, I hope he didn't hear me swearing. Get in trouble for cussing. Holy shit, that would suck. All right, so these 3 years in college, like I think that I've changed a lot as a person. Hi Chud, glad to see you on the stream. So my first year was like a lot of firsts. You know, everything is new, so it's like my first. I was really excited to like check out the college experience. So like drinking for the first time, getting high for the first time, going to frat parties. Like bro, it was like those memories. I cherish them because they were fucking awesome. It was first year for me was like a male development year. I was hitting the gym, making progress in the gym, like improving my bench, squat, and deadlift, like trying to look smacks as a male, trying to get girls. Oh yeah, I got my first kiss, and it's like, oh, it felt so good. Oh, it was awesome. I miss her so much. Why did she leave me? It's all my fault. Okay, whatever. You know, that's when I fall of 2022 is when I came out to my mom that I'm trans. So, well, my second year of college, it's when I that's when my one-itis, that's when the girl that I got to kiss, she ghosted me. It's probably my fault because I got shit interpersonal skills, and I don't know if I can call it heartbreak, but I personally feel that it was heartbreak, because it felt so fucking sad, bro. Dude. Oh man, I felt so fucking sad when she fucking left me, bro. Oh man. Oh yeah. So second year of college is when I came out as trans to my dad, and that's when I also started to test the waters of cross-dressing in public. So I started shopping for some women's clothes, going out wearing women's clothes, wearing makeup, just testing the waters of presenting feminine. Oh, also, first year, I forgot to mention that's when I first got a prescription for hormone therapy. But because I was chasing this girl, I stopped taking the hormones just to like keep my testosterone levels up, just to like keep being masculine so I could like hit new PRs in the gym and shit. I, I literally was like being more masculine just to try to get girls. Um, but after she left me in the spring semester of my sophomore year, no, she left me in the fall semester of the sophomore year, but in the spring semester, that's when I started HRT for the second time, and that's for real, and that's when like I'm still on HRT since then, you know. So the junior year is when because I have tried done weed before, I've gotten high for the first time in my freshman year, but junior year is when I really started to like regularly use marijuana. So, I just turned into this, like, weird non-passing male to female transitioned pothead. Like, I'm like a transitioning stoner. Um, yeah, but in the spring, it's like oh, man, in the fall, I had this, like, mental health spiral, and I'm gonna make a whole video dedicated to that because it was insane. Like, I was trying to, like, hang myself in the school bathroom. I don't think I was genuinely intending to die, so I don't consider that a suicide attempt, but I was trying to, like I was, like, trying to see how close I could get to death. It was some bad shit going on, bro. It was, like, a dark time. I'm gonna talk about that in a different video, okay? But in the spring, it was like a rebound. The spring semester, I started like, feel like I wanted to live life, and so much so that I was no longer able to relate to the feelings of depressed black pillars who want to end their lives. And maybe it's just the estrogen because it has antidepressant effects. Maybe it's because the grass looks greener on the other side because of transitioning. Maybe I'm just optimistic about my life as a woman ahead of me. But yeah, but that positive state of mind didn't really last that long because it just went away recently. Because lately I just plunged back into a depressive state. But overall, I would rank From best to worst, I would rank my years in university so far from best to worst, first, third, and second. Like, second year, I was pretty fucking depressed. Pretty depressed, man. Nice XD. What? Do you look good presenting feminine? If I did that, people would throw tomatoes at me. I don't think I look good presenting feminine. I made a community post about like one time I was on a bus and this like old guy like called me beautiful. I don't know, man. Lol. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Oh, it just took a hit of my vape. I'm vaping as I'm streaming, bro. All right, missed content opportunities. So I've come to regret not uploading videos during my junior year because that's when I was undergoing quite a lot of sort of mental shifts. I was discovering myself. I was really like getting in touch with my emotions more and stuff like that. That mental development. I think it would really be nice to see that happening on YouTube. You know, I wish I uploaded during that time, because my mental state affects how I talk in videos. It affects the kinds of beliefs I have and what kind of videos I make. So if I had uploaded, then it would it would have been valuable content wise to show that character arc. I think. Um, well, there's a good outcome of skipping the content, which is that there are some bad ideas. Like, oh, I'm so glad that I was, because as you know, I have motivation issues when it comes to YouTube. I'm really unmotivated to make videos, but like looking back on some of my old video ideas back when I was 17, I had an old spreadsheet of old video ideas. Most of those were fucking trash ideas. Like just it screams, kid with no life experience, okay? Like I'm glad that I didn't upload those videos. So yeah, there are unfinished old videos that I'm glad that I didn't publish, but there are also videos that I wish that I had published um during junior year, you know. Like I like to see YouTubers change and grow in real time, right? Let's like example is a guy goes from being unable to get girls to getting girls. So, hey, it's one thing to have like a dating coach make videos in the present, when he's good at dating and when he has experience and he says, "Oh, back when I was in my early 20s, I couldn't get girls, but after I learned game, now I can get girls." I would like to see someone document their entire journey. So it's awesome to be able to see a YouTuber right now, being successful, having a business, being able to like get girls and shit, and go back to their old videos and you see them in a far worse state. And you can see them like literally progressing in real time. I think that that's awesome to see, you know? And I missed the chance to kind of document those changes that I experienced in junior year. Like here's an important example. It's that before I knew about ADHD, I was genuinely just confused and just very ignorant about the issues I was going through. I wondered, why am I so unmotivated? Why am I so forgetful? Like, why do I have all of these like weird like mental health like sort of challenges? And after I learned about ADHD, now I have come to know those as symptoms of executive dysfunction. But that means that I can no longer make those videos being confused about what's going on, right? I think it would be valuable content for me to have made those videos before I knew that I had ADHD, so I could show you guys what it's like, how I was thinking and feeling before I could understand what my issues were. But now I can't do that anymore. It would be disingenuous for me to pretend that I don't know the cause of my mental health struggles. Well, some of my mental health struggles, because not everything is due to ADHD, but Now I see all of these, not all, I misspoke again. I see most of, my motivation problems, my time management problems, all of, like, my bad grades, I see those through the lens of executive functioning and dopamine and ADHD. So I wish that I had uploaded more before I learned this so that you could see the progression, you know, of how I got to know these symptoms as being ADHD. Um, it's like I think there's some value in having those old flawed videos on my channel so that I can, so people can see how my beliefs have changed over the years. Okay, another reason why I regret not uploading earlier is because of the relevance of these issues and some like content in the manosphere, right? So a few years ago, like Fresh and Fit and Rolo Tomasi and Wheat Waffles, like Face and LMS, they used to be really big, right? And now they've kind of fallen out of the spotlight. So like in my video spreadsheet, I have planned a lot of videos where I would like react or critique some like Fresh and Fit, Rolo Tomasi, Wheat Waffles content. Kevin Ray Wilder, who's like a sort of male self-development YouTuber, you know, these guys are not really that relevant anymore, and I'm really not trying to throw shade at them. I just they've kind of fallen out of the spotlight. Like the black pill, like the red pill community really has been kind of like declining in popularity, I think. So like it sucks that these videos, a lot of these sort of issues that I wanted to talk about, they're just no longer relevant. So I missed the opportunity to make these videos about like Fresh and Fit, Rolo Tomasi Red Pill, And also with Wheat Waffles, I also wanted to like cite some of his videos in which he shows his face. And I can't do that anymore because his videos are no longer available. So it's a missed opportunity. And like even if I had downloaded it, it wouldn't be ethical and respectful to him if I were to show his privated videos after the fact. So I wish that I made some videos about Wheat Waffles back when he was still a YouTuber, right? Back when he was still active, because I think it would just be disrespectful for me to do it now, because he left and he wants to keep his life private, right? Ibis says, "What work would you prefer since you maybe not want interaction with people if they are not accepting of you?" I love interacting with people as long as I get along with them. I don't like working alone. Like working with other people keeps me accountable. It makes the experience more lively. Like I really like working with teams. Um, I want to interact with people. It's just that like I'm uh, I'm not as worried about them not accepting me as I'm worried about me making them uncomfortable. Like I'm more concerned that I might inadvertently make some women uncomfortable if maybe they might feel a certain way about me. Some women might think that I'm appropriating womanhood, you know, and I'm not, but it's understandable if they feel that way. Yeah, it would have been cool to see that. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it is so cool. Like, look at MKBHD, Marcus Brownlee, the tech YouTuber. You can go to his oldest videos on his channel, and you see how he used to like film with like a low quality webcam. He was like just this like kid in his house, just like filming with his webcam, reviewing these old phones, reviewing these gadgets. Like that's so cool. You see him go progress from that to like being this high quality professional YouTuber now, right? It's really cool to see people have that real time character arc and that real time progression as a content creator. Yeah, I wonder what the new era of Blackpill will look like. Yeah, for sure. I think Aesthetics Waiting is like the front runner, don't you think? No, yeah, it's like the new age of black pill is already here, you know, like, there's like 3 been like 3 phases of black pill. First was like ITV and like Mystery School, Face and LMS, and, like Thinking Ape, and the second is like, Wheat Waffles, um, and, the 3rd phase is like Aesthetics Waiting and like those like looks maxing, channels, which, I kinda think that, like, they're over dominant in the black pill, space now. I wanna see more unattractive black pill YouTubers. 'Kay, it's a bit ironic how, like, most of the black pill YouTubers seem to be above average in looks these days. It's just, like, it's not a good look for the community. Yeah, I don't like TERFs, they're very misandrist. Mm. Yeah, the blue pilling of the black pill. Yeah. Um, got some water down the wrong pipe. Alright, so, section 6, um, so apprehensiveness is just like I'm just anxious and fearful that something bad will happen to my YouTube channel because this has happened several times in the past where, I always follow the community guidelines, you know, I never have any hate speech on my channel, but multiple of my older videos have been taken down by YouTube, and they say that it violates the hate speech policy, but, like, I don't think that it does, like, there's absolutely no hate speech in any of my videos. It's like some of those takedowns, it's like one of them I remember, you know, because like when YouTube takes down one of your videos, they provide a timestamp for like where the offending content is. So they took down a video and they said it violates the hate speech policy. And the timestamp, I clicked on it and I literally just said like looks max. So I was like, oh, the hate speech is because I said looks max, gym max, and hair max. Yeah, that's hate speech, bro. See, it's these unfair takedowns that are a huge reason why I'm not motivated to upload to YouTube. Why I'm not motivated to make videos, because it's like in a second's notice, all of my work, all the work that I've put in could completely vanish, could completely go to waste just because like some YouTube moderator like made a mistake. Stardust has a special place in my heart. He blackpilled me. Yeah, I really like that guy. Really like that channel. So it's like no, it's not like, "Oh, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear," because it's not enough for me to just make sure to follow the community guidelines. Because, you know, like, there's been many, many cases where YouTube moderation did false positives, where they removed videos that do follow the guidelines. My videos follow the guidelines. They were unfairly removed, right? So this makes me just fearful that my channel will be terminated, demotivated to make videos. Um, You know, and it's really, tough too because I feel lonely because it's like I can't really get support from other creators in the YouTube community, in the mainstream YouTube community because, you know, if I tell them why the videos got taken down, then they're a lot of them actually think that I deserve it. Like most mainstream content creators, they want to see my channel be taken down because they think that the black pill is like they think that the black pill is bad. So, like, I so that means that I you know, I can't really, like, sort of go to other mainstream YouTubers, for support with this. 'Cause they'll just, like, tell me that I deserve to get terminated, it's like, don't like, the strategy of, like, not saying the words, I don't think that that's gonna work, like, if I just don't say looks max, instead I say, "Oh, increasing your physical attractiveness," or instead of black pill, I say BP, y you know, instead of, like, the I word, I say, "Oh, people who can't find a romantic partner despite wanting one." It's like, maybe that would slightly reduce the chance of getting unfairly taken down, but, like, I don't think it's like, dude, YouTube moderators aren't stupid. Like, if they disapprove of the content, if they think it's harmful, even though I don't think it's harmful, like, they're gonna find a reason to take it down, They're not just gonna be fooled just because you substitute some terms. Like, "Oh, you just don't say looks max." Like, bro, what? I don't think that that's gonna work, and it just, like, it doing that, like, avoiding saying the phrases, also makes the videos, like, less relatable to people in the mainstream in, like, the no, it makes the videos less relatable to people in the core BP community. So, it makes the videos more, like, appealing to normies at the expense of being less appealing to the core black pillars. But I want this channel to be for the core black pillars. So that's a reason why I'm reluctant to just, like, avoid using the words. And also a lot of these, like, substitute phrases are just inefficient and wordy, right? It's like, imagine if I have to say improving your looks every time I say looks max. Like, it's a waste of syllables. It's just wordy, and it just makes the videos less concise and harder to understand. Tails blackpilled me. Oh shit, I forgot to mention Tails. Yeah, that's right. Tails was a OG too. Tails, it's like Tails and Wheat Waffles was in the second phase of the black pill. Chud says, I have 2 strikes on my channel. It gives me anxiety. Oh shit, that's tough. That's tough, man. Chud says, I can archive your videos if you want. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. If you got the storage space to do that, I would be thankful. It's not about the word, it's about the content and identity. Yup, 100%. Like, the thing about quantity, video quantity is like, I want to publish a large catalog of videos. So I have over 100 video ideas written down in my spreadsheet, and that's not including shorts, right? Over 100 videos planned. And the problem is that you only have 3 strikes and your channel gets terminated, right? So the more videos that are on my channel at a time, the more that can be flagged in a short span of time, right? If I have 100 videos, it's way more likely for 3 or more videos to get flagged in a single day. So then, like, 3 strikes and my channel is instantly terminated, right? So it's like, on one hand, I want to be able to, like, build up that vast catalog of content that I've always wanted to, but on the other hand, it comes at the safety of the channel itself. And, like, I also think about this with, like, video length, because I think, like, if I make longer videos, encompassing more topics in each video, then I have fewer videos on the channel and a lower chance of receiving multiple strikes at once, right? So that's good. But the disadvantage of that is that with long videos, if one video gets taken down, a larger portion of the content on the channel is lost. So it's like, you can't really win either way. Like, and short videos have, like, the opposite problem as above. Shorter videos means that there's more videos, so higher chance of termination. But the advantage is that, you know, less content is lost per deletion. And it's like, people have said, "Oh, just upload to Rumble, bro." But, like, Rumble's viewer base is so much smaller than it's so much smaller than YouTube. that a YouTube channel with dog shit thumbnails and dog shit titles and bad editing and bad audio quality would probably make more money than a Rumble channel with top production quality and the best marketing. Like I believe that as far as Black Pill's concerned. Like Wheat Waffles has like on Rumble, he has like less than 1% of the subscriber count he has on his YouTube channel. So like Rumble is like it's just not popular enough, you know? Like people don't watch Rumble. I guess another solution that not really solution, but sort of workaround to like manage the risk is that I could make the main channel's videos very tame and make a second channel where I kind of like cover the same points, but I use like unfiltered vocabulary and like lower quality videos. So I could have a main channel with high production value Black Pill videos that appeal to normies, and a second channel with low production value Black Pill videos that appeal to hardcore Black Pillars. And if the second channel gets taken down, I don't lose a lot of income, right? Because the main channel is where the money comes from. The second channel is where the core of the community comes from. So I could do that split, but I think it would just be a lot more work to grow two channels at the same time. Like, you know, and it could just like attract two different audiences, um, which may not even be a bad thing. I think that it could be interesting to see the difference between a comment section of normies and moderate Black pillars versus a comment section of hardcore Black pillars. Like that would actually be quite interesting to see. But man, it's like, look, I'm going to reiterate this. I follow the community guidelines, okay? Those takedowns were unfair. So it's like I keep on having to have the mindset of a criminal coming up with ways to like loophole and get around the YouTube mods. But even though I'm a law-abiding citizen, because it's like I keep getting unfairly arrested. You know, but here is something that's life fuel though, and I'm actually going to post a link in the chat here. Is that someone friend of mine just sent me this news article from the New York Times that says that YouTube has recently started to encourage their moderators to be more lax and prioritize freedom of expression. So, you know, that's life fuel. You know, I think things are looking up. Like if that's really how things are going, then you know, maybe I have a chance on YouTube. Maybe the risk of getting terminated isn't that high. You know? I mean, only time will tell, though. I have the whole entire archive of Renegade 1's videos before he unalived. Ooh, that's sad. Facts. Here's the article. Chud says, let's go. All right, so like that's all the fucking shit I want to cover in this stream. I think that's about it, you know. Yeah. All right, so if you guys got anything you want to talk about, any questions and feedback on how I did in this stream, please post in the chat. Do you think that I was rambling too much or being unclear with my words or repeating myself too much in this stream? Because I'm trying to work on my communication skills. Streaming is one way that I practice those skills. And I think that like one of my biggest problems is just a lack of concision, like being overly wordy, repeating myself too much. So what do you think about that? Chud says nice. Chud says you did well. I like the stream. All right, appreciate that. Yeah, I'm gonna stay on for like a few more minutes just to catch some comments. If any of you guys have some questions, and then I'm gonna hop off. So yeah. Oh, Forever Over says easy watch. Oh man, still I'm a bit fucking anxious just in like man, I swear I thought like I heard my dad call my name during when I was streaming, but I just wanted to stick to it and get it over with, you know, but Fuck, man, I might be fucked. I might be a little bit fucked here. Ivanov, yes, I would do live streams with others. I've done those in the past, so I'm open to doing it. Yeah, but I think that this might. Yeah, I might only want to do like maybe one other live stream this summer. I kind of don't really want to do a whole lot of streaming anymore. I just want to focus on the videos. But if you want to, like, if there's anyone who wants to like do a live stream with me, like a podcast or like a live debate, then I would be open to it. Man, and this fucking vape, man. I mean, I don't know, man. It's like the more I vape this vape, the worse the flavor tastes. It's like the flavor just keeps tasting worse. Like, but maybe this is a sign that I should quit. Perhaps, perhaps. Okay, guys. So since there are no other questions in the chat, that's it for the stream. So thanks for watching. Yeah, that's it for the stream, guys.